Hi, I'm Alex Archbold. I've been buying and selling antiques since I was a kid. Over the years, generations of our family have gotten involved in the business, and I'll search just about anywhere I can to find hidden treasures both big and small. I never know what I'll turn up next. It's about exploring new places, seeing new sights, and having fun. And even though sometimes I get over my head, we try and make things a little better along the way. This is Curiosity Inc. Hi everybody and welcome to today's episode. I have flown all the way out to Tulsa, Oklahoma to interview and meet very interesting man, was a race car driver, entrepreneur, owned a Ferrari dealership, raced all around the world. His name is Toly Arutunoff. And I'm grateful that he's able to take the time to meet with me today. We're going to do a little tour of his garage and his collection and chat. I hope you enjoy today's episode. I know I'm looking forward to it and have been looking forward to it. And I connected with Toly because I ended up buying a car that used to be his, a Lancia Appia Zagato GTE, which he raced all over the place. And I can't wait to hear more stories about that. But without further ado, let's get inside and let's meet with Toly. Over the years, Toly has raced numerous cars. Ever since he attended the 1957 Mille Miglia, he got hooked on racing. Since then, he has raced at Spa, the Targa Florio, Sebring, and numerous other events, and even built the Hallett Motor Raceway. He raced Morgans, Lancia Stratos, and many other cars, including Ferrari. I got in touch with him because I bought one of his old cars. Toly raced an Appia Zagato GTE. I purchased it just this past year and had a chance to meet with him. This is my weekend with Toly. So Toly, am I saying that right? Toly?
Yeah.
Is it Arutunoff or?
Arutunoff.
Arutunoff,
Yeah.
Okay. And your little dog, the white one that's running around here, what's their name?
Her name is Barchetta.
Barchetta.
Because she's an Italian dog, and it never occurred to me because she barked a lot. That works.
Yeah, that worked. Well, we called our dog's name is Chewy, and he loves to chew on stuff, so.
Okay. This is like one of the things we find in France.
Oh, yeah.
We bought very little stuff in antique stores in France. I mean, I would say less than 5% because we have two families that live in France that we know, and they all know somebody that has a barn behind the barn.
And there's stuff in those barns?
And there's stuff in the barn.
And look, you've got this great, that's got to be such an ancient piece, the chandelier candelabra.
This actually is from my wife's first husband. They are very rare. They're andirons.
Yeah.
And they represent pipeline workers.
I see that. Yeah, he's got his marking tools and pencil, and they're off to. That's kind of a neat thing.
This thing with the upside down figures that goes on a ball.
Oh, this ball here, probably.
Yeah, from Patoga. Are you familiar with the guy that has Patoga?
No.
In Calistoga, California, an artist. His entire house is inside his trompe l'oeil that he has done.
Okay, and so
sculptures.
This would spin in the wind, like the wind catches it?
Yeah. Although we had it indoors.
Okay.
And like I said, the place is a mess.
No, hey, I live and breathe in messes. In fact, I'm happiest when it's a mess. What do you got under the cover here? Almost looks like a...
That's a Crawley Mangusta.
Oh, okay.
My second one. That's the first one. You know, are you familiar with what Crawley Mangusta is?
Well, I'm familiar with Mangusta, but...
No, well, this is Shell Crawley and De Tomaso made a car called the Bigua. It was a show car.
Okay.
This is the production version of that with a Ford driveline. I'm a big American engine in exotic cars. It's just so simple to do.
Well, you never had a Fossil Vega, though, did you?
No.
Okay. Well,
big
that's
and heavy and
French with an American engine.
Yeah, and my wife can. But anyway, if you want to see this, I can open it up.
Well, we can just lift the one little bit there. Oh yeah, it's got the.
Let's pull it all the way back. However,
Modena.
no.
How many of these cars did they make?
They imported about 80, believe it or not, and they come up for sale. It's an automatic, of course, because of that.
Right. Yeah.
I can drive a stick shift, only I have to be careful the way I do it because, you know.
You don't get too aggressive.
bump it into neutral, coast up to a stop, left foot on because left foot's the one that works. On the brake, hand brake on, clutch in with the left foot, first gear. Now what happens when, you know, I'm ready to go, you release the handbrake, let out the clutch gently, and get over to the throttle. So I have to have enough car with enough oomph to be able to pull for a second
Right.
Throttle in first gear.
Well, I heard you were racing T-Birds, like 55, 6, 7 T-Birds.
Just 55.
55, okay.
Yeah, I had one that bought it just before I lost my leg. We thought it was a little bit high, 26, but that was, anyway, the guy's wife needed medical treatment. And I was fifth hand, but let me tell you, that car, freaking flawless. We took the air conditioning out. It runs the way, gauges and all that. And T-Bird forums, all these things. People are so worried. I can walk along and talk too.
Oh, sure, yeah. I'm going to put this back here.
Karen used to say, stop talking because you can't walk and talk at the same time.
Well, we can walk and talk.
Yeah.
I heard you came up with some system of improving the suspension on the T-Bird.
Just put a rear end roll bar on it.
And changes the whole way the whole car feels?
Yeah, it'll stay with any Jaguar of the period.
Wow, so you're racing, what class would that be?
Well, it's vintage.
Just vintage, okay.
They let me run it in the display class at Pittsburgh. It's got no roll bar. It had
Right.
a seat belt. And I had applied to run at Chattanooga, which is apparently a magnificent festival and race. And they said, prepared to SCCA specs. And I said, it's prepared to 1955 SCCA specs. It's got a seat belt, and I have a fire extinguisher. Well,
They let you in, though?
No. Isn't that ridiculous? Anyway, what do you think? Roof and everything, we'll get around to it.
Well, this is a lovely product. How many acres do you have?
I honestly don't know. I used to know.
It looks, got to be close to 2 or 3, I would say.
You think?
It's hard to say.
An
Well,
acre is about what, like 260 foot square.
yeah, so maybe, I guess it's not that wide, but you got the depth here. I've seen these purple trees around town. I don't know what I've never seen them before in my life.
Oh, they're, I don't know what they are.
But do they produce a fruit or anything? Or
No,
they just
and,
flower.
Like I said, my wife loves certain kinds of flowers. I'm thinking that all these things here, all they do is molt and just seal against.
Sealed up.
Yeah, because it couldn't lift against the pressure.
I feel like I saw a picture of this garage with all your cars parked out here for a photo shoot.
Yep.
So you had it designed so they could all open up and you could pull things out easily?
Theoretically, it's a great idea.
But
the pillars aren't necessary, and I'm kind of sorry they're there because
they don't do
that. You put that and this together, and you got to maneuver carefully. Otherwise,
I guess, yeah, because you got the steps there.
This is like not the office, but the sitting room had TV and stuff like that in it.
Right.
6 foot long bathtub in the bathroom, and I hope it's not locked. That means you have to hobble back,
So this is the magic garage,
as it were. Yeah.
as it were.
Oh, I forgot I got this. What year was that? The Bristol, second place. With the.
Do you want me to close the door here?
I can leave it open. It's all right.
Let it air out.
That's
Okay.
here, yeah. There's a letter from the president when I won the president's.
From the White House.
Yeah.
Who is? From Ronald Reagan.
Yes. 1981.
The President's Cup.
Almost 12 years ago. Yeah.
Well, you don't think about all the things that presidents have to sign.
Oh, guess what? What's his name came? Bush even did it. When Obama came in, it quit. Of course.
Right, but they used to do that, or when a person would turn 100, you'd get a special.
Yeah, right.
My grandma still had one. She got one from the Queen that they wrote a letter and said,
Oh, how wonderful.
"Congratulations."
So things like there's the Bristol Racing at Laguna Seca.
Oh, what a great painting!
There's more stuff in here. Like I said, I haven't been in here for months, and I just forget the things that I've got. Mille Miglia, Copper State.
Helmets. Oh yeah. This is all just like. My dream garage already, seeing some of the great artwork. Are these,
I've got a whole bunch of a guy that's a Porsche collector actually wanted to buy those, and apparently they're moderately whatever.
Yeah.
And then this, oops, I'm sorry, dog. We're just missing in we were one of the 5 or 6 Americans invited to go to Ferrari's 50th anniversary.
Wow, and you've got all the plates and letters and...
The Zagato, that's the 3Z in the picture. And, my wife. So I've always been quiet and timid, whatever like that, and they didn't give us stuff we were supposed to have, and you'd go to them and they'd say, well, no problem. I said, no problem for you, problems for us.
Right.
I mean, I'm going to all of it, but I mean, all these little cars I've got.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I see the James Bond car there.
And now John says the stuff is solidifying. There's something called Yado, X-A-D-O.
Okay.
Put it in your cars. It got rid of the traditional wrist pin knock and Flaminia.
Is that like a lead substitute or something? Or?
No, you put it in the oil, and it only builds up. And it was discovered in Ukraine. It's cerammetallic, and it's not like, now I use that stuff, what's the other, Restore, for a while. You know, it fills in the grooves. They've got a
Yep.
German award. This stuff only will build up where there's an impulse, and it's harder than any metal in the engine.
Oh.
And I drove the Flaminia down there and then raced it with the headers on, and not Amelia Island, but they used to have the 24 minutes of Daytona, and now of course it's all for 917s and stuff like that. But back when, and I drove it down there, and the thing had never. Oh man, we ordered the headers in Europe, and they followed us around. Finally, I interrupt myself like I do a lot. They come into Nashville in 1964, and I go to pick them up, and they say, "Where's your papers?" And I said, "Well, they're mine. I got my passport." I said, "No, you got to have the customs papers." Guess what? They sold them at auction somewhere. They
Where?
can't tell you anything. You know, that's the way that.
Yeah.
And the guy calls me in 1970 something and says, "I got these headers that I bought. I thought they'd fit in my V6 Buick. So for $50, I'll send them to you." And so I got them and put them on the car. And again, the standard Flaminia stuff looks good. You know, they're nicely flowed, but just the car just ran like mad. So I drove it. Before that, it had after Tex Arnold rebuilt the engine from 3 engines. I won't go into all that crap. I let a guy rebuild the first engine where it didn't need it, and he got some stuff out of balance, and it blew at Daytona. In quality and practice, and the engine was perfect. I mean, the car was perfect. I mean, you better let me rebuild that.
Did you race a Can-Am series as well?
No, I had a Can-Am car.
Well, I saw you had a Can-Am car. I see you've got the Can-Am VHS tapes up there.
Yeah, we did the 2 live.
They raced Can-Am races in my town.
Uh-huh. Well, we did the only 2 live Can-Am telecasts, and those are a few of those. I'm trying to sell the whole deal, but I don't know whether it'll ever go.
What's the little Ferrari here? Is that just like a sculpture?
I had a couple of those. This is a lamp.
Oh, it's a
They
lamp.
were originally made to have, what's that, cherry liqueur?
Oh, is it Jim Beam? No.
No, it's cherry liqueur.
Oh, okay.
You see the plug in the back?
Yeah, yeah.
And then they made these, and I should have got a whole bunch of them. They were getting rid of them. They were like $12 a piece. And I bought 2 and gave one away for a present. And of course, who knows?
Makes a cool lamp.
Yeah.
Ceramic.
And then, I mean, just like I said, what's this? Where did I get this? I have no idea. Who gave it? It's a modern, obviously, toy car. Somebody probably put it on a birthday
They
cake.
thought about you. I can see some of these are older, probably some Hubley Tootsie
Oh, yeah,
toys.
I mean, now these are from American antique stores.
Oh, yeah. No, but even like, all these old, the touring card games, all that stuff is neat. The helmet with the race
Yeah,
car club.
that's a real racing helmet. I mean, I actually wore that in races. And then just the books. Thank you, God. And I'm embarrassed. And the guy for my birthday,
Oh, I see you got a little record.
he gave me that, 0 to 50 in record time. Or 60, I was going to say. And he died. He was a racer. That's my American bodied Cunningham. That, again, big hassle with this, that, and the other.
Oh, do you still have a Morgan?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. My friend's a Morgan guy.
In fact, it might be in here. Now, some of these trophies like this might be, I'm not sure I found that. Charles Lucas, his wife was going to, build Titan Formula cars.
Yep.
His wife was going to throw all his trophies out. And he said, they're silver. And she said, oh, don't be silly, Charles. And I looked at him, I guess they're sterling silver.
Wow. And they were just going to throw them out?
And yeah, she was.
Wow.
The Coppa d'Italia, wonderful event.
I mean, you think of even the history of that trophy, it'd be a shame just to scrap it for silver, but I mean, it's silver.
Well, she wasn't going to scrap it for silver. She was going to throw them away. She thought they were just tin plate or something like that.
So what did your mom think about you racing when you were getting out there as a young guy? Or was she just happy you were keeping busy? And
She actually, it's incredible. She was amazingly neutral about it. Dad would say, can't you hire somebody to drive your car? I said, Dad, you don't get it.
What fun would that be?
Yeah, well, see, his father, he had a brother. He had 6 brothers and a sister who never married because there's always somebody didn't like her boyfriend. And she came over here in '68 and got her cataracts fixed. And I could have picked her up at the airport. She was my father with long hair and that much shorter. I mean, you talk about, absolute doubles. And
oh yeah, I see you've got an old pinball machine over there.
yeah, it's worked when it was put there.
Is this the Bristol?
That's the 407 Bristol Zagato. Yep.
Wow,
The
gosh.
one.
I thought you had another Lancia Zagato, like a.
I have a Flavia up in Bartlesville.
Oh, okay.
The ugly one, yeah.
Yeah. They're not
Listen,
without their
it's
charms.
a wonderful car. It is a full 4-seater and it's peppy.
just not much to look at. This, however, you know, what's funny with Zagato, they do some cars that are absolutely knockout gorgeous, and then they do some that are just a little awkward.
They're all sportier. That's when I was a kid and started noticing cars. The Zagato would always be 20 kilograms lighter than the Vignale version of whatever the Fiat was.
Super Leggera.
There's the Morgan on the other side.
Well, this car was at Pebble Beach, was it not?
Twice. Not to be judged. And I got to tell you, we had it there in 19, and somewhere like in the summer, February, I'm not sure, whatever. And I called him and said, by the way, you're having a Zagato year again, and I want to point out I still have the Bristol 407 Zagato, the only one. So yes, we were Mr. Arutunoff, yeah, but you know, the entries closed last Christmas. And I said, well, I'm just telling you I've got it, just in case, for whatever reason. A week later, they call back and say, it's one of Andrea's favorite designs. We're sending you the entry kit.
Wow, and in you went.
Yeah.
Right-hand drive.
Mm-hmm.
So was this made for the English market then? I guess being at Bristol.
They were going to build, you know, Anthony Crook, the Bristol guy, was also the importer for Zagato for England, for anything. And they were going to build one of these a week to go up against the Aston Martin DB4, because they're blowing in the weeds. And they didn't like Zagato's construction of this one. I mean, all the panels, I'm not going to sell the car, but anyway, if you take things off, there'll be two screw holes besides the one the screw actually goes into.
Because they were trying to fit everything.
And they just, in Bristol they used to always get us. I'm not sure if they ever got a gold medal from Coach Builders at Earl's Court, but they definitely got a few silvers.
I'm just going to peek in the interior here. I'm careful not to touch the car.
Oh, you can touch it.
I mean,
look, you know, it needs all this stuff. And then I thought I was going to have it restored here in town. They ruined it. I mean, you notice all the windlass is gone and everything. You had the back. We took the thing to England and drove it around and had a friend that had a restoration shop. The back window the windshield and the back window had no sealer, and they were just set in.
Right.
The rockers, which was the original idea, he took pictures and sent me. They were unpainted beer cans in wood lath.
Oh,
rockers.
boy.
Yeah. And so he had
to get some work done to it.
Yeah, on again. So like eventually could get this thing to a guy who used to work for us who's got a very good shop. And it's a 318 Canadian Chrysler polyspherical, and
right. So
you know,
American drivetrain.
Yeah, technically no problem.
You know, it's funny. Those door panels are almost. They're very similar to the Appia's door panels. That detail.
On the left side and look, you'll see the faintest depression in the hood, which matches the one on my Flaminia. That was the same buck. You know, there's a guy. The cars all look the same. This is an interesting story. I think I mentioned to my wife, but I'm really not sure. I'm not trying to keep secret. For a while, maybe 6 months, there was a house, pleasant bungalow built in the 30s, that was a erotic art museum.
Okay. That was here in town?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I thought, well, I'd drop in. It was gorgeous. And she said, that is the most beautiful car I've ever seen. And I thought, no, I won't do that. But I've done pictures of nudes in cars, and you might know some of that one book and et cetera. Had some of my stuff hanging in a gallery in La Cienega, and I had a one-man show in Bartlesville, in the beautiful community center. A few nudes, but a lot of fashion shots and things like that. I had 2 fashion shows of my own stuff.
So are you saying that it was a lady that left a indentation on the hood of or fender of your car?
No. I'm just saying that the buck that they
Oh,
made
it's the same one.
The buck that they made the bonnet hood, pardon me, since it's an Italian car,
yeah,
made in America, is obviously the same buck they use in the Flaminia, because you sit over there and you look, and there's this ever so slight change in the contour.
Oh, so they use the same buck and everything.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Exactly. And the doors, the window mechanisms are...
Well, beautiful car. I got to come around to the front and have a look at this car. I'm also admiring, of course, I know I mentioned in the email that, hey, if you ever got any old posters, I know you said you do, but you're...
170.
Oh, I see, even in the box there.
We thought, we checked some prices and stuff like that, and this guy wanted to buy them. We said, there's some, I'm sure, like semi one of a kind. They're staggering. They're like 10 beautiful ones.
And so...
I said, we want $10,000 for the lot. And he said, I was going to give you like $750, so forget it.
Oh. But how many are in the box?
I think we had 120 wrapped up, some inside the others. And I mean, they're way over 100. And like every now and again, I don't know ones. Oh, I forgot. We had one from the Concours at, not Pebble Beach, the other golf course in Southern California. The Torrey Pines.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the hill climb. posters like this, and it is just.
And
I
these
mean,
would be
it's
from
like,
like the 60s, 70s?
No, that's from the 90s.
From the 90s, okay.
So anyway, yeah, feel free.
So where was the Appia that I bought parked when it was in this garage?
It was in here somewhere.
Oh, I see. There's the extra engine sitting over there.
Mm-hmm. Where is it?
To the right.
Dragged it. Oh yeah, he dragged it out. He says it doesn't turn. I actually able to turn it, so maybe it took a set. So obviously he took a rocker cover off and says it has no valves. This is a motorcycle I wanted the exact model that I wanted in 1951, and I bought it. Well,
Wow.
I'd already lost my leg. The guy said, "Yeah, I'm selling bikes. I sold my electronics company and bought some bikes, and I'm culling my herd." I said, "How many did you have?" He said, "Over 600."
He had 600 bikes.
How do you buy 600 motorcycles? Isn't it wonderful?
It's in great shape.
It's Belgian, because we had a Belgian dog, Belgian daughter-in-law, Belgian motorcycle.
You got the BSA. The Mondials, that's a cool little bike.
Now, that's moderately rare, but according to Philippe Gillespie, maybe not as rare as I thought it was.
Oh, okay.
One guy from Argentina actually made a detour. He was a petroleum guy, and he was going to Oklahoma State. He came by here to look at it. Said, "You want to sell it?" And I said, "No."
And what's your position on that now? Are you hanging on to it?
I'll hang on to that. I'll sell this. This is a 650cc flathead BSA single. It was tuned up and had new tires put on it 14 years ago, and then I lost my leg. So
I'm just looking at your little car case here.
yeah, now see, that's not specifically mine. That might be my stepson's, but I mean everything in there he didn't care.
Right. So it was.
Some lights on in here.
Oh well, if you have lights, sure.
Oh yeah, boy, do we have lights. You're gonna flip the switch.
Of course, I got to look in the car key. Oh darn, it's empty.
You can flip the switch somewhere over
Somewhere over here.
the pinball machine on the wall. So it's flat.
High-speed pinball. That's a good one. Oh, I see the switch. If I can reach it here. Oh, get my hand back there. Well, I hit the switch, but nothing happened.
Did it light up in the trophy case?
Oh yeah, the trophy case. There we go. Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to do this with this. Yeah.
Oh, this is a bad place for me to be because normally this is all stuff. I mean, look, you got grand pianos in here.
Oh yeah, that is a rare grand piano. It's got a cracked sounding board. And what's interesting is, I distantly know, I mean, he actually will notice me.
So Phil Hill was interested in this piano at one point. I didn't know that Phil Hill restored pianos as well.
Oh yeah, that's when he was just getting into cars. I mean, simultaneously or something.
Looks like you got a couple tether cars in here.
I do. I've sold a couple.
Well,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, this is all. Oh, there's an Alfa Romeo Sprint Speciale. I didn't even know they made a little one of that.
Yeah, I had a particular time finding.
Oh, you got a couple of them.
The Appia Zagato, and then the 3Z Ferrari. Now, what you can't see over there in that far corner is sort of Zagato corner. Way in there.
Zagato's on the other side. Okay, I'm gonna.
Over there.
Oh, over there.
Yeah, and with a bookshelf and stuff like that.
So were you in great little pedal car here too, or a little race car?
I have a feeling that's worth something. That we were given that in France by an antique dealer that my.
Oh, it's super cool.
Much stuff. But,
It's like a little open wheel Ferrari kind of looking race car. That's neat. Now, I'm being very careful here to try and wiggle my way around, but I'm just came to see you got another one of those Dino sort of decanters. You got a nice, looks like a Ferrari tin plate, Japanese battery operated.
I don't think it's battery operated. It did have a picture of it in the.
And all these big, what's the story on all the big McLarens and.
I think those are all Jim Beam or something.
Jim Beam, okay. They make a nice display.
It was nice when you could get in here and see it.
Well,
You know, it had furniture and 4 or 5 cars scattered around.
oh, I'm sure, and I'm looking down in the cave. There's stuff just everywhere to see. Like I said, this is any car guy would go crazy to look through these showcases
and
and.
come out and wanted to curate. And I said, I'd love to look. I don't know what.
This looks like a practically medieval bathtub, but
Oh yeah, that. How,
look at this thing.
On the size of it, we measured it once and I've forgotten.
Well, it looks like it's about honestly 8 feet long
Okay.
and probably about 4 feet tall and 4 feet across.
Possibly the last remaining Albason die vat.
So this is a dye vat.
Yeah.
And so what were they dyeing in here? Wools, like...
All this was for the tapestry.
Oh, for the tapestries.
Everything else had been confiscated in both wars.
Right, and melted down.
This was in the basement of this guy's house, and I think it's worth a lot.
Well, I mean, where would you find? You can't find another. And you've got stained glass here.
Did I tell you about the cartouches we had?
Looking over at the wall of all the different emblems and badges.
That's an example of some of my photography. That thing up by the TV.
Oh, the steering wheel.
The picture, the weird-looking picture of the people.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's the kind of stuff I did at times. I got a tribute to Granville, which isn't really Granville. Used to do people with.
You got a picture of
that picture of the son, Bernard Caillet. We were friends with Bernard. Oh, how about that?
So that's you right there.
That's me on the left, yeah.
And that's which year of Targa was that?
63.
63. And you went back several times, didn't you?
Yeah, and had problems. Anyway.
Were you you were racing? Was it Stratos at that time, or
No, Stratus didn't come along till 77.
right? And the Targa.
Targa, the last one we were on was 73 with a Lotus Europa and had some brake problems and got disqualified. Because then I drove the car all the way back from there to America. There's some lovely furniture. A love seat, a chair, and a three whatever. That's what you would call it. Oh, golly.
So some
Get old, forget. Anyway, it's Italian.
Italian furniture in
Yeah,
here.
40 years ago, it was pretty expensive.
I mean, this is basically like for somebody that buys and sells stuff. This is like a very interesting garage to walk through. I mean, even look at all these old albums. Gosh, Images a Chromo.
Yeah, that's my wife bought.
Right. Okay. Yeah. These are all like little advertising cards. It's like a scrapbook.
Well, I'll tell you what, definitely sell the 650 flathead a quarter throttle.
This wouldn't run over
This
a quarter
would.
throttle. Okay. What would happen? It would just bog
It
down,
would
or
die.
oh, okay.
No, so I'd coax it up a hill and start down a long hill, just to see and get this one place. Anyway, guy fixed it.
What was wrong with it?
I don't know.
Just
Don't know.
carburetor or?
Something like that. I mean, I took carburetor apart, cleaned everything, but it had to be carburetor because it was simply a function of turning the knob.
And you don't want to sell the Mondial, the little?
No, I don't want to sell them on the but
It's a cool little bike.
I think it's worth what, 12?
Oh, sure. Yeah, it looks like it's in really nice shape. So that's potentially for sale.
Yeah.
You've raced this Morgan, haven't you? Or is that the same one you've raced?
No, that's the replacement. That's one where I sent a bunch of junk. We had 2 race cars, and we put the 2 Morgans, but took all the pieces and sent them just to say I'd exported a car.
Right.
I sent it to Morgan and said building a new one. And I got this letter back saying, you realize how expensive it's going to be to restore? I wrote, no, I don't want you to restore that. You can use that for spares or throw it away. Just give me a new car.
Right.
So that's, of course, I forgot to specify. Like I said, Morgan, you don't get. It doesn't have a tack. I put one in it. It doesn't have a heater. And when we got the other 2, the alloy, the 2 race cars that we bought in late '66, ordered, had them delivered in '67, were alloy body, bucket seat, remote shifter, which is utterly useless. I mean, heavy, and every time you drive the car for an hour, you get a blister. Honest, it was just ridiculous. But anyway, $1,800.
Wow.
And when they came in, the customs guys, I want us to look at these cars. These 2 cars that cost, what, like $3,700 together, new cars. And so I opened the thing, turned the little deals in the back platform, said, see, there's the back axle, piece of plywood. He said, yeah, I guess they're worth about $1,800.
Well, it looks like it's in great shape.
Oh, it is. That one, I won. The 2010 Put-in Bay was they didn't have a race there. And that was last year I had my leg. But we took it up there, and it's wonderful. You been to Put-in Bay?
I have not.
Oh,
No.
You ought to go. It's this September. And it's in the middle of the week, so people can get away. They can, instead of having to use up a weekend,
Okay.
it's like Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, or Tuesday, Wednesday.
So you take a few days off work and get a long
you can do
week.
it that way, however. Anyway, that car has won the first Palm Springs Vintage race, and also it won its race at Laguna Seca in '82, maybe.
Wait, so I got to ask,
Yeah.
is that the steering wheel off your Porsche that you crashed? The
No.
Speedster, or?
No, I don't. That Egon Hofer might have given me that wheel. I'm not sure.
Because I remember reading something that you'd crashed. You had a 50s Porsche Speedster, right?
Carrera Speedster.
Carrera
yeah.
Speedster, and you kept the wheel off it and hung it on your garage at some point.
I think that wheel is now with Myron Vernus,
Oh, okay.
who is
What race was that in?
Oklahoma City. I was a sponsor of the Les Petite Prix, 1962, through the fairgrounds. And I left rear wheel came off, and I kept waiting for it to spin. And I went across a 4-lane road. The cop was down there, and he ran out and waved madly, and then went through a hedge. And I had the only car there with a harness. And the way I don't know why they don't like single harnesses, but I had put it in so that I could lean over, pivot around it, and when I saw the curb and the hedge appearing, which I thought was a wall in the hedge, there was this big green substance.
So you're waiting for a big
And
impact.
I had all this, about as long as it's telling me to, taking me to tell you this, because it was a long escape road, and I'm, 80, 70, 60, 50, and the cop out, and I leaned over, and I went through a hedge. People were showing their house for sale, and I hit the only tree in the yard.
Oh,
so all
no.
I did was, I didn't knock it out of alignment or anything. It just put a dent in the front.
I wonder if they bought the house. The selling feature. Well, if it's okay, I'm going to just peek around at some of the pictures and stuff here. So you guys would make trips to France. Your wife would pick up stuff she thought was neat, including giant. So you had to ship that giant copper dye vat back here.
Well, eventually we had a container load.
Okay, and you just shipped the container over.
Yeah. And then
Well, that's the way to do it.
What do you think about this bike? Complete with this World War II French little license tag on it.
Oh yeah.
Peugeot bike with the lions on the sprocket.
Gosh, and they're still probably riding these around in Holland.
Well, these tires were put on again about 13 years ago. But the guy gave us that too. And I figure if you're hiking that ought to be worth, I don't know.
Oh.
Do you think 1,000?
Well, I don't.
The saddle obviously is new. I think the guy put that on
The saddle's new, yeah.
here in town when I didn't tell him not to.
And this is the power plant that's inside my little Appia. Just a tiny little. I was surprised how small, because it's a V4, that it's like the width of your hand.
Yeah. Well, they told Sada, was he the guy that designed it? Or anyway, they said we need a short engine, and so he made him a short engine. Not really.
So,
I mean, short lengthwise, so he made it tall.
oh, you could. It has a crank on the front, so you could hand crank it if you had to.
Yeah.
So was this
I swear I used to be able to turn that by hand.
Well, you'd think, yeah, if you had a tool on there, you could probably turn it.
No, but I just turned it. So I don't, like I said, does that mean it's got a crank in it? Because I don't see how you can have the front.
Well, yeah, there would have to be a crank attached to that. Mm-hmm. But I wonder if this was like a demonstrator
It was a
engine.
display, yeah. This is right out of a dealership in Southern California.
Okay, to show you what the Lancia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Grant said he didn't want to bother with bringing it back, and I was like, don't do
The
that.
point, you couldn't get to it.
Oh,
It took him 2 hours to get it to here.
yeah, that's a neat piece. Oh.
The generator, probably it's a real generator. It has the simple carburetor as opposed to the
It's not as hopped
double
up as
whammo.
yours.
What?
It doesn't have the hot header on it like you've got on the one I have.
I mean, the chassis, the Vignale and the Zagato, etc. It has the double barrel carburetor, and this doesn't.
Gosh, just everywhere you look, there's something cool. All these patches, those are super
Like
neat.
the Christmas tree. They used to have this wonderful thing called Christmas at Philbrook, and they would have art people design things, and
Somebody,
it lights up. And I got that and put all my patches on it.
yeah, I see. I mean, there's some good racing patches. Daytona 72,
That's real gold thread. As one of the
the Long
founders.
Beach Grand Prix.
I'm the founder of the Long Beach Grand Prix. Let me tell you what they did. The idea was for $750, you'd get 4 tickets for 10 years. 2 really nice ones with the meals and stuff like that. And then just 2 regular tickets wherever you want. First come, first serve. So I said, sounds like a good deal if it works. So they're saying, we're not sure it works. The concept may fail. About 8 years in, they said, we decided to make it perpetual. So I now have 4 tickets to Long Beach Grand Prix as long as I'm alive.
As long as
which
you're
is
around.
a pretty good deal for $750.
Oh yeah, you're getting your money's worth out of it. That's like when people get cut off from going to a buffet because they've gone back too many times. They're going to say, listen, we're not doing that
I'm
again.
glad to see that because I'd forgotten where that was.
Yeah. What's this out of?
That's a front engine Cooper that I can't get paper for. I did. Okay. Arrange your thoughts, Toly. For a while, I had 3 front engine Coopers. 2 Cooper MGs.
Yep.
And a Cooper Ford, which looks like a weird Lotus 7. Karen and I traveled all over because the back slopes down so much they had room for luggage. And it had top. It had windshield washers. and turn signals and all that stuff. So I tried to enter it. We were in the Cooper MG in the 84 Mille Miglia. And so for the 86 one, we had them every other year, I saw under the Cooper Ford, because we were there. We get this letter saying, I'm sorry, there's no such thing as a Cooper Ford in the Mille, you're not in. So we went over with the car, and the car, I'm not sure, the car was still in Europe, that's right. And because I ran the Coppa d'Italia, which was an indescribably wonderful 4-day rally, and Karen and I ran that. Anyway, we were the support car for Gil Nichols' Ferrari America.
Oh.
For real. We had some tools and stuff like that, and had support. Well, it got me in trouble because we come to one checkpoint, and I'm trying to go by, and the cop won't let me. He says, you have to go this way. I said, look, it said Assistenza on the windscreen. And he said, no. I said, but this is not non-concorrente. Assistenza. No, you have to go. So we go through, and what's his name? Costantino Franchi, who was an absolute perfect face right out of the medieval era. His nose, starts here, just perfect straight line, and he has eyes like Putin and everything. He looked at me like, you cheater, whatever. And so we tried to get in a couple more times. Oh, we did get in with the Cunningham. But anyway, so...
and you still have the car?
Oh, yeah. I sold it to John for $1. He's going to, because he's such a loyal whatever. He said eventually might sell it back to me. He said, I can race it. But again, being a stick shift, whatever. So anyway, give you an idea, making a short story long, you can edit all this down. I took a spare wheel because, the wheels have the brake drums cast in it. They're not just wheels. And I took it on the plane with me as luggage. What are you doing? I said, just in case. By golly, Sally Clayton Jones, who was a navigator, and her husband, her maiden name was, what's the circus? Barnum.
Yeah.
Anyway, she was from that family. And her husband was in the Red Arrows, and he was killed crop dusting their coffee plantation on Jamaica. But anyway, she lived half the time in Italy and half the time in Baraboo, Wisconsin. And she, of course, spoke flawless Italian, and met her. She was the signer-upper for the English language people in the Mille Miglia in 84. Anyway, so we're driving along, following the route, hoping we never did see him because the car never broke down. And all of a sudden, the right rear wheel goes kablam and just explodes. And I said, thank you, God, for saying, take the spare wheel. Less than an hour, somebody had stopped, lifted the car up, and took the wheel off, bolt-on wheel. Didn't hurt the tire, because the car didn't weigh anything.
Right.
Took it into town, found a tube the right size. Less than an hour, we were on our way again.
Wow.
So anyway, the car, when we were at hanging out at Tech as an Assistenza car, John Cooper himself comes up and says, Cooper, huh? And I said, yep. He said, how do you know it's a Cooper? I said, beside the badge, we got the British registration papers on it, calls it a Cooper. And he said, take the bonnet off. I take the bonnet off. And he said, we made 3 Cooper Vauxhalls, and I didn't think any of them existed, and I think this must be one. Because it has a non-crossflow Ford in it, and I got it from Bryan Classic in England. But it has this weird motor mount up in front.
Okay.
It's obviously that was not the original engine. Well, nice to know that that's what I got.
So it was a Cooper Vauxhall.
Originally. And I would love to find, eventually when all this other stuff gets settled out, I would love to get a proper Vauxhall engine and put in it just for fun. It's got the world's most awful sport car gearbox. Somebody said they actually thought it was out of a milk float with the Ford engine that's got in it. First and second are like that. And then there's this huge gap, like you've never seen before, to third and fourth, and they're also real close.
So you have to, between second and third, you got to keep the revs up real high, or?
Well, it's a Ford,
right.
And anyway, it has run Goodwood. They wouldn't let me drive it because of my legs. So I can show you. No, I'm sorry. But a friend of mine that is a retired Belgian investment banker. They're in the Bugatti Club, the Mercedes Club. He's got stuff they're selling now because he's like turning 70. He's got to quit rate. He was paid, I saw him get paid cash money to bring the Cooper Formula 2 car to the first Poe historic race back in 09 or whenever it was, because that car had actually won the last real race at Poe. And they gave him 500 pounds.
Wow.
But, he's got, Doesn't have a blower Bentley. It has another big, just all
Beautiful
sorts of
stuff. I mean, I'm looking at all the different pictures, and some of these are cars you've owned, and then, or most of them are probably cars you've owned. Is that my Appia that I have there?
By golly, I think it is. I even forgot I had that picture.
That's my actual car. Where were you there? Is it California or something? Or?
I suspect it was the Arizona Silver State Classic.
Okay, yeah, I can see there's other cars. You're in a race.
That's the trophy on the wall over here. We actually stopped and, I stopped the stopwatch, and then Karen had to pee behind the bush. I said, "Oh my God, I screwed us up. I stopped the stopwatch. I mean, we're still on." And anyway, we were second to these people that were professional rallyists who had been hired to drive a 1914 Knox. I don't know if you're familiar with cars. Actually it's a Hemi with overhead valve Hemi, and because somebody was going to run that owned it was going to run the great race, and they wanted to see all these, since you can't see your speedometer or whatever, I forget, your odometer, they wanted to see how long it would take from 5 to 50 and 5 to 60 and all those times they get. Anyway.
Well, that's a great picture of it.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
2-liter A-bar. And
yeah, it's like an automotive museum mixed in with.
And it used to be, like I said, have nice Persian rug and chairs and ashtrays and tables. And Mille Miglia.
And all these giant armoires and wardrobes that probably out of some chateaus in France.
Something like the neat thing we've got besides that bathtub.
Yep.
Is this here, which goes along with this humongous.
This piece here?
Yeah, it goes along with this. What would it be?
What is it?
It's something off the front of a French duke's house or something like that. There's a big flat thing that's mullioned, and it's got to be 15 feet long, that went over the archway. And again, that I think is.
I'm trying to make sense of what this sign is behind you here too.
We found that in
the Charlie.
It
looks like somebody with a microphone talking into it.
It's a nightclub sign.
Okay, I wonder if this was used for printing or something.
That's an idea. I don't know about that.
Because they used to do copper plates for printing.
Yeah,
this might be.
I'll bet you it was.
Because this is reverse.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is for doing posters from. The Charlie. Where'd you find that? Oh, Tony Charlie. So maybe that's the guy's name.
Someplace in France. It's one of the metal pieces. Hey, get down. One of the metal pieces. And of course, to be very careful with it. And they were very careful with it. And they let the last 4 inches, the guy drops one in and it breaks.
Oh.
But they said they're mostly all broken, so that's no big deal.
Just another broken one. And then is this car stuff back here too?
Sure.
Okay, well.
Turn on the light.
I mean, all these great Grand Prix pictures.
That's the light for up above.
Oh, that's the above light. Oh gosh, this just keeps going and going back here.
Yeah.
Is there a switch around the... Hang on, I'm going to turn my... There we go. I put the light on my phone here.
This light. Did you turn this one on? No.
No, I didn't turn that one.
No. It's probably on and burnt out. Like I said, people, whenever you get too cute with the lighting switches and hiding and this and that and the other, the attic has like 15 lights in it that are burnt out.
Is this a original Lancia Flaminia advertisement?
That wood thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had it mounted.
130 mile per hour. Oh, there we go. Car books. I mean, it's just where does a person start and where does a person stop?
Exactly. That's my father's family.
Oh, right back there.
Yeah, you can move that picture out. That's just.
So that's them as they came from.
Oh wait, now wait a minute.
The military.
That's my father is too young to be in the picture, I guess, unless he's down lower.
Well, there's a baby there.
That has Meek. That's Uncle Soren, who was 3 years older than my father. That's the grandparents.
You had that up on the wall at one point?
No, I never did.
Oh, okay. Just had it.
My folks never wanted me to learn Russian or anything because of filthy communists.
Huh.
Move that picture again. There's something behind it.
Well, there's a little Ferrari. It looks like a...
50th anniversary. I didn't know that existed.
It looks like a portfolio. Maybe some pictures inside.
Wow.
There you go.
And, I think they still have, because I didn't take them anywhere, 3 things completely covered with
well, there's an old...
plaques.
It looks like there's a watercolor back here, too.
Oh, that's the house in Bartlesville. Yeah, never mind.
Oh, that painting?
Yeah.
That was your old house?
Yeah. got it back in the family. My niece won't let me in it by myself.
Huh.
Oh, for Pete's sake. This is a gift.
Oh, look at that.
This 1997 Schumacher.
Schumacher, yeah.
What do you think this sucker would be worth to a Ferrari collector?
Well, not many people would have been given one, I don't think.
Only
So
the people in the celebration. So,
yeah, so
wait a minute, there's more than...
there's probably multiple posters in there.
Let's see without busting it up.
I mean, I'm looking at this giant clock face. Antoine, that's, I guess, a newer piece. But like these old car paintings, that's signed by the artist. It's kind of a neat thing.
Yeah, another picture of the race car, whatever. Honest, I don't think, I've never read this.
See, we're finding stuff you didn't know. You got a Dukes of Hazzard car there too. That was
Oh yeah, that's traces probably. Like I said, I'd love to see where somewhere in the attic, I figure that all those Star Wars things will bring a mint.
Oh, for sure. Well, you have them at the house?
Yeah, they're in there. Everything's in here.
Oh.
Like I said, the big whatever. Now, all the boxes and stuff aren't necessarily.
Well, Star Wars stuff is collectible. Oh, look, here's the shelf marked Lancia.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Flaminia, Bristol. But Lancia's, there's carpeting.
What? Did he take?
Old Appia carpet. Well, that's out of my car.
Well, take it.
Well, I already...
I've been looking for that. See, the last time I saw it 5 years ago or 10, it was in a brown paper bag.
Yeah, so that's carpeting, and then there's an extra boot for the shifter.
That is...
I don't know if that's Appia, though.
The Flavia needs a boot like that.
Oh, Flavia Sport.
Okay, so... Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, and there's another Lanciana magazine. So there's a couple of these boots here. So your other one is missing one, is it?
Well, it didn't. Yeah, it came without the proper inside one, and I bought another one from Checkered Flag, and they sent me the big rubber thing that goes in the transmission. And I said, well, I'll keep it, but what I need is the thing that fits in the metal rectangle that screws onto the console, you know, for aesthetic purposes.
Ferrari 3Z.
That's my car.
What would you have left over from that car?
I have no idea.
There's a box marked Ferrari 3Z. That's the Zagato that got switched. So what?
Changed back to California. Yeah.
Ignition bits, fuel filters, hoses, windshield washer kit.
Ah, okay. God, he's out here, like I said.
How long ago did you sell that?
What?
How long ago did you sell the Ferrari?
2010.
2010.
We told, what's his name? Mike Sheehan, we want 2.8 mil for it. We don't care what you get, but we're not paying you any commission.
Right.
And we had this long negotiation because the guy, he might have gone to jail. He bought and sold 2 or 3 other cars. Karen became great friends with his lawyer on the phone, and we were always going to get together and meet, and then he went on a vacation and died of a heart attack in Mexico.
Oh.
But anyway, Karen got to the point, the guy lawyer calls us and says, look, we're so out of trust with you, it's my duty to say, you've got $700,000 from us, you can go ahead and sell the car to somebody else and keep that money. And I said, I don't do business that way.
Right.
And then Karen said, but I'll tell you what, we want 1% interest per month, simple interest, non-compounded, on the outstanding balance. And the guy said, I'll get back to you. He says, fine. So Karen claims we made a bunch of money just on
the
1%
interest
of, a couple $1 million.
Wow.
I'd love to know what Sheehan sold it for.
Well, it's back to it. I've seen pictures of it online, and it looks like it's in its original form now.
How did you find pictures of it? I mean, from the serial number, or did
Yeah, I think so.
3Z?
Yeah, well, I'm part of the Ferrari Club as well, and I think it showed up on one of those things. But I'll look it up for you. I'll see if I can show you a picture of it.
That'd be wonderful.
Because it was, what year was it originally?
It was 61.
Yeah, so it's back to its 1961 form.
Yeah, I have the wonderful copies that went with the car. The price of the car to Canetti, $10,000. Price to Zagato to rebody it, $5,000.
Right. I'm just looking at some of your other stuff like this. What is
I
this?
have no idea. It used to be on the floor.
Notre
You
Dame.
find a lot of Notre Dame stuff.
Oh, Fightin' Irish. Okay. I'll roll that back up.
That's my wife.
Parts for your 3Z. So somebody out there has a 1961 Ferrari that used to belong to you, and you've got a box of bits left over. And then I noticed there's Nash Healy bits. Those are a nice looking car, actually. I quite like Nash Healy's.
The funny thing in Nash Healy, it had these weird things under the front. I couldn't figure out what they were. I finally figured out what it was. They had cut, somebody had taken some huge shears and just cut the front end of roll bar off.
Oh, so it had been a race car.
No, it had a stock end of roll. The main reason I sold it is you could jack it up and you could wobble the wheels like this on that trailing arm suspension. And yet it rode perfectly balanced, smooth, straight. Overdrive worked. The heater had been taken out. And the head, because the aluminum ones warped or something, it had a single carb iron head. So I find in some weird, back in the day when the weird things used to crop up, parts catalog or something, alloy head for Nash engine. And I bought it. And it came in and I took it to the garage. I'm going to change this head myself.
Is that the alloy head over there?
And the car has an overhead valve engine. This is a flathead.
Oh, flathead. Okay, yeah.
So that's the
flathead.
Nash engine aluminum flathead.
Oh, so that's where it
Might
was.
be worth something to somebody.
So was this a hop-up part then? Was this, or is this factory?
What?
The head that's here.
I don't know anything about Nash flatheads.
Oh, okay.
Because it's been so long.
2 carb. Huh. Yeah, all kinds of good car parts and bits and pieces. Randomly a globe back here.
That's out of my dad's office.
Oh, okay. Your dad had that in his office. And generators and pistons, all kinds of stuff. You can tell there's been a lot of wrenching going on. And look at your jackets are fantastic too, with all these patches on them. Oh, I forgot you did the Cannonball Run, didn't you?
Hey, couple of them.
Couple of them. Were you there for the first one?
No.
And did you guys have the cops chasing after you and stuff, or?
We had one funny thing happen. The first one, we took the Bristol Zagato, and I thought, we'll do this other way. We'll take the interstate down to Charlottesville, Virginia, whatever, and come across. Well, guess what? The road wasn't finished. So we arrived in a big city, Charlottesville, West Virginia, at morning rush hour.
Oh.
So we creeped through that. And this is a story that's in the book. In the second book, I admit, is a lie. Made up about the girl that we picked up.
Okay.
We did get stopped because the license plate was loose, and I was wearing a T-shirt that had, it's my Maxfield Parrish moment. This beautiful girl naked, leaning on the fender of my Cooper MG, on the cycle fender. The cop didn't like that.
Oh.
Believe it or not, Bill Pryor had totally forgotten that he had gotten himself commissioned a deputy sheriff. And in the glove compartment, he's got the whole deal. Never brought it out. So that cost us a little time.
But if you would have said I'm a deputy sheriff, that might have helped.
Well, yeah, it showed him the stuff. And that's the only reason we were stopped is because I think somebody was trying to steal the license plate in the Red Ball garage. Because I don't put license plate. You know, when you put a license plate on a bike, you bear it down.
Yeah, it's bolted, yeah.
And here was one was missing and the other was loose. So anyway, so one thing we're going through Tulsa, let's just stop, take showers. So I didn't say all that. So anyway, we got there. When we got to the Cannonball, we got to the hotel on the ocean, we were, it was after dark. Everybody, the last other person had like 4 or 5 hours earlier. So we got there. So the next time I took a Volvo GT, since I was a Volvo dealer, and we were running pretty good. And it started jumping out of overdrive. And believe it or not, this car had 2,000 miles on it. The overdrive switch had a wire had worn through on the edge of a flange, okay, under the carpet. And like I said, the Lord led me to look there, and I looked and I said, look at that. Okay, got a piece of paper towel, something wound on like that, got it off of that, and overdrive works just fine. So now we're out west, and this is just I won't give you the story of the race I said, but you said cops.
Oh, yeah.
So we pull into a gas station in Needles, and they're gassing it up. And highway patrol pulls in. It was like 2, 3 in the morning. So we had a report of a silver car going at a high rate of speed from several truckers. And I said, officer, this is a Volvo. And he said, oh, yeah.
It took off.
Volvo. The car actually was like 104 in fourth gear and 102 in overdrive.
Well, they're beautiful cars, the old Volvos. I've had a 123 GT. I've had a P1800, 1800 ES.
My sister had an ES automatic, and I wanted her to give it to me or sell it to me, and she gave it to the live-in help they had. Again, let's put it this way. It's going out of the country, right? So why do they really care?
I was looking at your badges here. Classic car. These are from events you've entered, I guess. The 1000 Miglia.
Let me see.
You got all kinds of neat stuff. There's another Ferrari box back here. Here, I'll hand that over to you. Some nice badges.
Okay, that was just the Mille Miglia, of course. Movimento Ore, I ran that one. And this is a historic Targa Florio.
Did the Appia that I bought ever run in any of those races?
Nope.
Monterey, though, at the classics.
Oh, yeah, several times. Yeah, Cento Ore, that could have been on the... Oh, and this is, I'll give you one of these anyway. We put on a rally when my stepson got married over in France.
In France.
And went there. Now this is actual badge. Would you rather have a badge or a big pin?
I think a badge, put it on the grill where it belongs.
Okay.
I'm happy to buy stuff from you, though, too.
You came all this way down.
Well.
I mean, you know. Oh, here are those, more of those posters. I don't know what is this.
SCCA, 1975 Daytona, Cannonball Run. I mean, these are so cool. I'm a lover, not a racer. Hey, at least you always seem to have a sense of humor from reading your book and seeing the stories. So you're finding stuff you probably haven't seen in a while.
Well, there's something I'm looking for that, I don't know. First place, Christmas Classic.
74.
Southwest Raceway. Yeah.
What were you racing then?
Morgan.
Oh, that was in the Morgan.
74. Wait a minute. Could have been the Lotus.
I noticed there's another picture of mine here at the 1000 Copper State.
These are peel-off stick-ons. Yeah. We bought. They used to have the distintivi in Italian. What the heck are they called in French? Écusson. Every town we'd go through, we'd stop by and buy one, and we bought two. They're like $12. World War II or whatever late surplus German greatcoats, and we were going to cover them with the patches, and we never got around to it. I mean, they were, probably a bit too heavy to wear.
You definitely have enough patches.
Oh, well, here's my briefcase I've looked for 20 years.
You've been looking for that briefcase for 20 years?
Yeah, a birthday present way back when.
Oh.
See, people would get me things like this.
Opal.
Because I raced the Opal GT.
Oh, okay. Well, those are nice prints. They look like they're silk screens.
I don't know that I've ever seen them before. I don't know what's in there.
I see a picture of my car here.
Oh yeah, that's the first Copper State Classic.
How'd you finish in that race?
Well, that was the rally that we got second.
You got second place.
In spite of stopping, turning the clock off for carrying the tube, and we were beaten by professional rallies, which I always saw.
Oh, this is that race. Okay.
Yeah.
Great picture.
And we drove the car out and back.
So I noticed the car isn't actually white. It's like a really light blue.
Yeah, well, yeah. I call it bluish white.
But was that the color it was originally?
Yep.
I saw it.
I had one before that was built after this one, strangely enough, and it was that color too.
Same, sort of that bluish.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I saw the old ad. You had included the old advertisement from when you bought it, and the guy listed it. I think he's called it eggshell white or something along those lines. But what a great picture that is.
Like I said, John, oh my God, I remember the guy gave me this before the rally.
Oh, is it Monte Carlo?
The Texan. The guy started at Texas Beer Bar in Monte Carlo back in about 88 or 89, and it just went gangbusters. I wonder if it's still going.
This is an interesting old clock here.
Is that the one with all the vegetables on it?
Yeah, it's carrots and stuff.
Bought that. Now that's one of the places we would always stop by.
Does this come out of France?
Yeah, down by Bergerac.
It's got 3 giant bolts and then just a bundle of carrots on the very bottom. All this car stuff, Toly, and you got 130-year-old French books. This really odd, I figure this must have come off the side of a building or something because they had it bolted on there real good. Big brass clock. Unfortunately, the guts aren't in it, but it's a neat thing. Yeah, right on the floor, you've got this massive, I guess it would have been something that a kid rode on.
Yeah, I don't know where we got that. American, somehow I don't think we would have bought it in France.
No, this would have been American.
Yeah, it's electric, I bet.
Electric Sportster.
Yeah, and, I have no idea where it came from. It's way too beat up to be from traces. You know, that would have been like 19...
Oh, this is from the 50s for sure.
So it's just something she bought.
Huh.
It's an awful picture of my father there. Doesn't look like him at all.
Oh.
Really, I mean, you know, it's vaguely. I mean, you can sort of recognize it, but it's the one that, like I said, won the first Palm Springs historic race and also won its race at Monterey.
All your personalized plates from over the years? So that's you, and how old were you there in that picture?
18.
18 years old, and you're with your mom's, you said a 54 Packard Caribbean?
Yeah,
You look happy as a clam.
Yeah, well, I had a 53 supercharged Lincoln convertible too, roller tappet cam, etc.
Oh wait, is that the one you had the plexiglass roof or something
Yeah,
on? So
not just flexible. Yeah.
flexible.
Yeah.
That you made it yourself, or?
No, I don't make things myself. I had an upholsterer do it, a car upholsterer.
Oh, okay.
You just put rear window plastic in the 3 sections, and you could cook in it.
Oh, I bet, yeah. What color was the Packard before they painted it
It was
black?
that jade green back, white and jade green.
White and jade green, nice, probably matching interior.
Uh-huh.
I've always liked those cars.
It had that ultramatic problem of when it get warm, then it would never go to direct drive.
But you didn't want a Lincoln, you wanted a Jag or something, didn't you?
Yeah, but we didn't live in California.
Yeah. So if you were out here in Oklahoma driving a Jag, they would have thought, who's...
My folks thought, it's probably a good thing. And then I'm the one that turned down the 300 SL. You know that story.
Oh, I still lust over one of those.
Well, yeah. And it was, first off, there was one that was going to be 10.3. No, they went from 8.3 to 10.3 just when I decided I wanted one. And then they said, we have one down in Tulsa. We'll knock off $500 because it's been driven down here from New York. And somebody opened it under a garage door and got a couple little tiny dents, you know, in the door. So they let me have it for a weekend.
Oh, was it Galling?
Yeah.
Okay.
I drove it. It was lovely. You know, so many people don't, but there's a horn button for the passenger.
Is that in case you're rally racing?
I have no idea.
What would the
But
passenger
you talk to
do?
people, you know, because you're carving through traffic and the passenger can honk the horn.
I guess, or your wife can honk at you when you're
Whatever.
doing wrong.
So I bring it back down, and this was my supercharged Studebaker that broke my back when the brakes went out, strangely, and knocked my teeth out. And they said, we don't know about this $500. And I was so mad. They said, well, you got your Studebaker sort of sold already. I said, well, $500, no. So now the 300 SL, now it's what year? 57 maybe? Yeah. And they have a brand new one with a sport cam, which is 250 horse instead of 240 in Oklahoma City. And I drive my Studebaker down, and the guys get in and take off, and they nearly spun it pulling out of the drive. You know, it's just wonderful. And anyway, so it was 10.3, and it smelled brand. The other one smelled like newish, but this car had that new car.
Right.
My mother nearly bought a 300 coupe. They were lovely.
Oh, the Auto 300D?
Was that the 300D was
The big
limo?
yeah.
But this was a coupe.
Oh, coupe, okay.
With automatic in it.
Yeah.
It was in the showroom floor in New York, sitting in the sun. She opened the door, and the leather smelled like somebody had thrown up in the car.
Oh.
And she said, this is too much of a man's car, I'm sorry. And then we actually looked at a 300D. They drove it up. She's just, again, still too masculine for me. So anyway, I'm buying the car, I'm getting ready to, and my dad says, well, you know, you are in charge of your own money now. And I said, what do you mean? He says, you're 21. You're spending your money out of your account. This is not a present. I am not going to spend that kind of money on a car. I'm showing off. Again, pride. Pride has all these facets you don't recognize. And so I bought a Carrera Speedster instead, because I love Porsches.
Still a great car.
356. Oh, yeah.
Great car.
But anyway, the 300 SL was one. But this car, so Offenhauser had an aluminum head for that car. And so I bought it. And guess what? I looked at the guy take the original aluminum head. By golly, the spark plug was moved about that far, and the configuration was a little different. And I thought, does Offenhauser actually know enough? Or are they just building it? I mean, it's a limited market, aluminum heads for Packard.
For Packard, yeah.
And it seemed like it ran better. And then after I thought, all I had to do was just take it out on the road with my wristwatch and do 0 to 70. And, you know, in direct drive or, you know, normal. And I didn't. So anyway, we sold it to a guy locally who restored cars. And he took the head off and threw it away. And then put a cormorant on the hood scoop. Also, I drilled out the hood scoop because the reason they covered the hood scoop was they thought it contributed to noise. Well, I drilled it out to get more cool air in there because we did have an air conditioner put on it. And there was no noise here.
Right.
So anyway, he got it. He redid that, and then because they'd given me the 1954 Packard dealer's book with it at the end of the year, it said the cormorant can be ordered on any Packard automobile. So he said, see, I can put it legally, so to speak, I can put a cormorant on that. So
Yeah, I wonder how rare that Offenhauser head would be on that thing. You probably had the only one.
they called me up. Almquist called me up and said, you bought an aluminum head for your Packard? We have a couple of aluminum heads for F-head Willys 6s. Would you be interested in those? And I said, thank you, but no.
So what did you have a Willys? Probably
No,
not.
apparently in those days, people made aluminum heads for everything.
Right. You buy it out of the back of a Hop Up magazine or something, a hot rod magazine.
These people called me from California.
Wow.
One of the neatest things I ever saw, a guy had a 57 Chevy coupe, pillared coupe. And so you think, well, hot, whatever. He had the 6-cylinder engine, 3-speed overdrive, and Weber's, and a cam on it. And I thought, that looks so beautiful under there.
Oh, that.
Weber's just make, theoretically, well, now what I've got here, we've lost it. John thinks somebody came in and stole it. I have a rarer than rare Almquist alloy twin 4-barrel manifold for this engine.
For this one.
318 Chrysler polyspherical. They just don't exist. Well, I've got one in here somewhere. John said, somebody, you never locked the place, and somebody could come in here and just say, oh, look at that. I mean, back when it was a garage.
Right.
With cars around.
They would have known it was something fancy.
The point is, it needs another 3131S Carter, and I have found no one in the world that can even find me a rebuilt 3131S. So I guess the thing to do is you got to go to a wrecking yard and find a 1960 Chrysler V8 and take the carburetor off.
Right. I know you were saying, gosh, the Gullwing or even getting a BMW 507, but in my mind, this car is as pretty as a 507.
Oh, yeah.
Even the rims look like a 507 kind of rim, really.
Those are J.C. Whitney.
Oh, they're J.C. Whitney. Yeah. It's just a very, very pretty car.
Mm-hmm.
And
It really is. The radio works.
Yeah.
It works. All you see.
I mean, it does look similar to the Aston Martin Zagatos that they did, kind of like the front end.
Zagato must have used 2/3 the same bucks for everything.
Oh, probably.
When your early pictures of this car show it has a flush grille.
Oh, a flush grill, and then somebody set it back. Well, it probably looks a little bit nicer set back.
Same thing with the 3Z. The early pictures had those Zagato bumpers with no rubber inserts.
And somebody added them in.
And then Zagato put them in.
Well, let's head back on in, I guess, and check out some other stuff. We went inside the house, had a really nice chat, and ended up going out for dinner. And my visit, which I was intending to only be about an hour or two, I ended up staying and visiting and chatting and having a good time with Toly until about 10 p.m. And so this continued on, and I ended up going back again the next day. And so we're going to pick this up again in a part 2 when we go on a road trip together. So you want to stay tuned for that. That's going to be a great episode coming out. But Toly was born in 1936. When I filmed this, it's 2024, and he's mid to late 80s, and he's still racing cars. In fact, he tells me that his 50s T-Bird convertible that he has is already in France waiting for him, and he's going to go there this summer and keep on racing. So lost a leg didn't stop him, not letting getting older stop him, and really just kind of inspiring to get out there and have fun and do the things that you love. So stay tuned for part 2, which will be coming out next. And Toly and I go on a road trip to the town of Bartlesville, to his hometown and the house he grew up in, where we go and view some cars he has in storage and see the sights. So guys, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see you all soon. And as always, bye for now.